Hello and welcome to Pravus Gaming. In this video, we will be covering the 3 hard mode bosses in the new Czerka Corporate Labs flashpoint. Your first boss encounter will be the CZ-8X Eradicator Droid. This boss is fairly simple and only has 3 major mechanics you have to watch for. His first ability is to grapple a random member of the party to him. He will be pulled directly underneath the boss. At this point, the party member can just run right out. This is only dangerous because of his second ability. The boss will cast Charged Plating, which puts a shield around the boss and takes reduced damage, but also electrifies the water underneath him. Players who stand within the water will receive a ticking damage, i.e., you should not be standing in the water. The third ability is an ad spawn. The boss will spawn little CZ-2X Infiltrator Droid ads. There will always be 3 of them, and they will spawn after every other Charged Plating. That is to say, he will cast Charged Plating and then immediately spawn 3 ads, as you have seen in this video. The next Charged Plating will have no ads, and then the following Charged Plating will have ads, and so on and so forth. Ideally, during each Charged Plating, the party should be grouped up together, so you should be able to AoE these ads down. Be sure they do not kill the healer, as they can hit pretty hard, but they do have relatively low health. Other than that, this fight is essentially a rinse and repeat. The boss does have quite a bit of health, so this may take several minutes.
Get out. Please. It's on the brochure.
Chief Zokar is the second boss in the Corporate Labs flashpoint. This boss gains abilities as the fight continues. Occasionally throughout the fight, he will jump to different corners of the room. At this point, he will gain an ability called Weapon Arsenal, a buff that will increase in stack with every jump. To start the fight, Zokar has an ability called Shotgun Blast, which is a frontal conal attack. It hits pretty hard, so tanks should be sure to be pointing the boss away from the rest of the party. At 2 stacks of Weapon Arsenal, Zokar will summon 4 Droid adds to the fight. As long as they are not targeting the healer, they're not much of a threat as they have very low health. DPS should focus these down immediately. At 3 stacks of Weapon Arsenal, Zokar will put down a Plasma Probe, which puts down a circle on the ground and does AoE damage. In essence, don't stand in the circle. Fire bad. As you may have already noticed, every few seconds Zokar will throw a grenade at a random member of the party. It does relatively low damage and should not put too much stress on your healer. At his 4th stack, Zokar will begin using Cryo Grenade, which puts a circle under the tank followed almost immediately by a stun. This is very difficult to avoid.
God damn, that car. There's no flight. Like I just can't dodge it.
Zokar's 5th stack of Weapon Arsenal is where things start to get difficult. As before, he will summon 4 Droid adds, which should be handled the same as before, but he will also begin using a Rocket Launcher ability, which puts a red circle under a random member of the party, in which case they should immediately run out because it will hit very, very hard. As you can see, our Pug healer hesitated to finish a cast before moving out of the red circle, and consequently got killed for it. Definitely move out of there as soon as you can. Other than that, this fight is pretty much complete. As a special note before the 3rd boss, there is some trash that needs explanation. You will encounter Project EK8, which is a mob with a red circle under them. In order to defeat these, you need to open up the cryo tanks behind them. These will spawn Project TG5, which will have blue circles underneath them. The blue mobs will eventually attach to the red mobs and cause both of them to explode. To speed this along, do some damage to the blue mob, reducing him to about 80% health, and then you will get a raid notification that he is attaching. Rasmus Blys is the 3rd and final boss of the Corporate Labs flashpoint. It's a relatively simple fight, given that you should have just learned the mechanics about dealing with red and blue adds in the previous trash mob. This mob will teleport between the left and right side of the room. There will be 4 storage tanks on either side, 2 containing red adds and 2 containing blue. When he releases a red add, you should immediately release a blue add next to it, and vice versa if he released a blue. In this case, you'll see that there was some miscommunication between myself and our tank, and he released a blue add in the middle, while I released a blue add to the side. Try to avoid this, as it just creates unnecessary damage for your healer. As before, do some damage immediately after both mobs have been released in order to trigger chemical attraction.
I don't have anything else to do. No, the red ads will die with the blue. That's fine. I opened one when he opened. I'll hit the tanks, you just... I have nothing else to do.
Bringing contingencies online.
After all tanks have been emptied, the fight is essentially reduced down to a tank and spank. There have been some reports that the boss hits a little bit harder during this portion of the fight, though I can't really say that I've noticed. The boss will continue to teleport about the room until he is killed. Otherwise, well done.
Or you can totally reflect his, like, 6k.
I haven't lost. Not yet.
Thank you for watching my video guides onto the Corporate Labs Flashpoint. If you liked the video, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button or subscribe. And if you have any questions, I will be monitoring the comments below and I'd be happy to help you out. This has been Pravus Gaming, and thank you again.